Welcome back to Two Brothers Sports Podcast. It is Friday, April 3rd, and we are going to be talking Final Four and the national championship. Max, this has flown by as it does every fucking year, and now we are here. Four teams left, three total games. We're going to pick both games, and luckily, DraftKings has graced us with the hypothetical national championship winners, so we can at least get ahead on that. So we don't need to do a weekend podcast.
Hmm.
Uh, and talk real quick recap on Houston Open and anything live on the Valero Texas Open. I've got one play, and that's about it. Otherwise, it's going to be all hoops from here. Max, how we doing? How's the weekend?
Doing great, man. Yeah. Great weekend. Some really good basketball. Been a long week, so glad we can finally make it to Thursday and
Hmm.
for those listeners. But, the weekend's here. We get the Final Four. Yeah, very solid tournament for golf this weekend. And yeah, it's just going to be a great weekend. We got great weather, so, everything's on the come up.
Enjoy it because I think it's supposed to get back down to the 50s, 60s next week in Richmond. So I don't know why or how weather works.
Fucking opinion for you.
If we ever figure out how weather works, we'll give you picks on the weather, and we'll probably make a lot more than what we're doing on that.
Yeah.
Yep, I love it. I love it. Okay, so real quick, we're just gonna talk a little golf because we got the Masters next week. We're gonna have Sean on. So if you hear this, you want a wealth of knowledge and a couple knuckleheads who just will throw anything at the board. Feel free to listen in next week. It's going to be all Masters. We're going to record on Monday, release on Tuesday, I believe. So we'll record before the Natty, and then that's all we're talking is just Masters, nothing else. Maybe there's some soccer, some other things going on, but probably going to have more than enough content on the Masters piece. We're not going to talk about what's going on with golfers and maybe extracurricular situations. So we're just going to keep that moving. I think everyone else and their mothers have made the clear statements. But I got one thing to say, Max. Amanda and West on Summer House are a bunch of scathing motherfuckers. All right. So if we're talking Bravo TV, give me an hour. I got you. But we're not going to do that either.
I don't even know what that means.
Exactly, exactly. I'm a Bravo queen over here. So we got all the extracurriculars we're not gonna talk about. We're just talking ball. So that being said, Max, we didn't do too bad on the Houston Open. You went 2 of 3 with I'm gonna count that half as mine, not for a record, but for the sake of us having the same pick and got her up T20, backdoored himself into a nice T6 as did Jake Knapp, which was one of mine. Replacement for got her up. And then Max, you went Minwoo Lee with a great T10. He was pretty much in the hunt the whole time until Woodland really just kind of took off. So Minwoo Lee with a T10 landed at T3 at plus 162. And then a miss on Sung J M as I did with Marco Penge. Marco Penge is in the T5 right now at the Valero Texas Open. So we're early. We're not missing things. We're just early.
When
So,
Sung Jae always fucking fucks me, I swear. He
yeah,
might fucking be in top 10 this week or something. Or
went
if
with the wrong Korean. Siwoo Kim is a dog, dude. That I mean, it's
yeah.
sometimes Sung J M, sometimes it's Siwoo Kim, and right now it's Siwoo Kim. Dude's balling right now. He had a nice first round today on Thursday. I am closely monitoring a Ludwig one, and I'll just give that out for the Valero Texas Open. If you listen to this by now, Ludwig is in the hunt. He's been playing good golf so far today. Right now, I think he's plus 730 outright. So something you can get on a Friday morning that's still going to give you some value. But other than that, yeah, a total of 3 for 5, so winning. And we keep it moving. And of course, we will talk all things Masters. So, did you get a chance to watch any Houston Open Max or any additional comments, or you want to just talk some hoops?
Yeah, no, sir. I was pretty focused on the good old tourney. So I think we can get it straight into some hoop.
Yep, yep. And we gave out a lot of good picks. I mean, Purdue, Texas over, Iowa money line, Arizona, Arkansas over, Purdue covering, St. John's covering, Tennessee covering. The one big thing, and we won't go too heavy in the recap, but one big one that we both missed on and was my national championship was Houston. And they got their ass beat. There wasn't one moment in that Houston, Illinois game that I thought Houston had a chance to come back and win that game. The offense was just laggy. Chris Sinak wasn't getting involved. Kingston Fleming was trying to do too much. Emmanuel Sharp was doing too much. And Uzan played probably the worst game of his career against Illinois. And you don't see that very often from him in tournament games. So, um, thoughts on that Illinois Houston game? Because I was pissed.
Yeah, I mean, I had a small feeling that was the 3.5 game, right? I think Illinois was plus 3.5. Um, I don't know. I really did think. I mean, I was with you on Houston for a little bit. I didn't think they'd go as far as you did, but Illinois really did shock us. And it was still a low scoring game. You're like, damn, Illinois beat the fucking brakes off them, but it's still 65-55. So they really, Houston just couldn't do anything offensively. And yeah, Illinois, it'll be interesting to see what they can do, this weekend.
Yep. The second that game ended, I threw $50 on a Illinois future at plus 750 because they look so damn good. So that's, I think, 50 to win 425, 450, something like that. Um, so we'll see how that pans out, and we will get into the final four matchups here. Sweet 16, other kind of matchups or games. A lot of the favorites kind of came to play. We did miss on both of us. We did get St. John's cover, so we hit that. But we both had St. John's in the Final Four. Really tough kind of end to that game, but Duke was, in control for most of it, and St. John's kind of stormed back. Not to make a pun about their team name, but they
They fucking free throws and penalties. I mean, were
so
foul.
many fouls at the end of the game. It was insane.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
But also before Thursday, I mean that Texas Purdue game, that that was a crazy. I
Yeah, it was.
wasn't thinking about another game winner that was absolutely more nuts than this, but I mean that Purdue game fucking was crazy. I thought Texas almost had them.
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean they did in Texas. I mean Tremont Mark, dude. No one, I don't think anyone had him in our March Madness fantasy league, but dude put up some points.
Yeah.
It's hard when you draft on the play-in games and you don't want to take a guy like Tremont Mark and just get kind of screwed out of that, like Nate did with Ben Lubin on NC State. Um, so I totally get that. But yeah, that was an awesome game. Overhit, so I was pumped about that. And then Iowa, Nebraska was a great game as well.
Yeah.
Down to the end, Nebraska just, some time management and some personnel management issues, not bringing all five guys on the court, and just a really good design for the last play by Ben McCollum, finding Fulgaris in the corner for a nice shot there. And Nebraska made a nice run. Iowa made a nice run. I'm interested to see where McCollum is coaching next year. There's a lot of big uh spots, aka UNC right now. So interested to see if he ends up making the move there, but hell of a job by him. And just ran into a juggernaut with Illinois. I mean, Illinois just they're a tough matchup, man. And ran into that there, and that's all you can really do at that point.
No, for sure. I mean, definitely a great run. I didn't think they would go that far at all. So,
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. Anything from Sweet 16 before a quick Elite Eight recap?
no, sir.
My Elite Eight recap is favorites, 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 and perhaps the greatest college basketball game that's ever been played. So we're gonna just skip real quick. Arizona down at half, took care of business that second half and covered. Illinois, same boat with Iowa. And then you got Michigan beating the brakes off Tennessee, beating them by what, 35?
Yeah. No,
So not much to talk about there, but let's talk Duke UConn because we both had St. John's UConn at that point, little mix in there. I ended up playing UConn 5.5, and then a money line kind of sprinkle, which turned out well. But luck our sister was at the game. Craziest ending. Don't know how Duke blew that lead, other than the fact I feel like in a lot of things I've listened to, I don't want to regurgitate too much, but I mean, those last like 3, 4 minutes in the first half when Duke was up 15, had the opportunity to pull away and just could not hit a goddamn thing in those last 3 minutes. Gave UConn a little bit of momentum, and Danny Hurley does what Danny Hurley does and got these boys fired up at halftime. And completely different game in the second half. And one tip ball, one mistake on the kind of the press break, and here we are, UConn to the Final Four off a buzzer beater from Braylon Mullins. And there wasn't a second that I didn't think
His
that was good.
fucking celebration was sick. He fucking so wet too. It was the most
Oh, yeah.
cash fucking game winner you could possibly ever have. Um, just unreal. I will say a little story, and not to make everyone think that I'm not a true fan or anything of college basketball and March Madness. It was a Sunday. Me and my girlfriend were gonna go to Scoops, and it was about 5 minutes left, and Duke was up 9. And I was like, all right, like I think we're good. We could probably just go out and go get it. Um, she who had Duke winning the whole thing in our family tourney was like, nope. She convinced me to stay, and we fucking ended up watching that game. She screamed so loud, my ear was probably still ringing to this day. But I don't know why. And I was like, this game is over. It like has to be. And she was like, nope, not a shot. And what a fucking ending. And our sister Emma, who has been a guest on here before, was there to see it live. Has been it's just unreal fucking game. Coming
Yeah.
down, I mean, Duke literally, I'm looking at the probabilities and game flow. I mean, Duke had them no less than fucking 65% the whole game until that last shot.
Yep. Yep. And it's funny because I was watching with Taylor, my wife, and the first college basketball game that we ever watched together was the 2016 UNC Villanova National Championship. She came over to the boys' house in college senior year with Ashley, and so me, Brian, Ashley, Taylor, and the other guys were watching this game, and perhaps the greatest national championship game, if not one of the best, probably the best March Madness game I've watched. And Taylor and I are sitting there watching UConn Duke, and I'm like, there's no fucking way. I was like, I need UConn. I was like, I'll be good either way. I'll still net out if UConn wins this game. But if Duke wins by less than 5, I'm going to be cooking with some moolah. And of course, comes down to it. She's like, oh my God. And we were just like, holy shit, Wrigley's now. Yeah, Wrigley's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Uh, but absolutely insane game. As soon as it got into Braylon Mullins' hands, I was like, oh shit. 'Cause
Yeah.
that guy can shoot from anywhere. With his form and how he's been able to shoot this season, he didn't play well that game from a shooting perspective. Didn't matter. Shooters are always hot. It doesn't matter when in the game. I
It
actually,
was like a spread leg. Like he like,
oh yeah,
like that extra like push. So that's not a normal form and just
buried it. Absolutely buried it. I reminded me we had pickups last night. We lost every single game except for one, and I ended up hitting the game winner, and it was similar. We were so deep, and I as soon as I caught it, I just knew I was pulling it. Um, wasn't as silky, but Braylon Mullins going back to Indiana, where he's from. He's from Indianapolis, about an hour outside. So the whole fam's going to be there. UConn, Terrace Reed played out of his mind that game.
well,
Basically willed them back into the game until Caravan started hitting some shots, and then you had Mullins at the end. So hats off to UConn, incredible game. you're torn between do you hate Duke more or do you hate Dan Hurley and the run that UConn's had over the last 4 years? And
No,
uh,
I love Dan Hurley. I
yeah,
mean, we have him fucking foreheading the ref is absolutely hilarious.
yeah, oh yeah, a little
Just fucking walks over to him and fucking digs his forehead into it. Like that is just never seen before from a coach, and he's crazy, and and I saw that he was like, yeah, like him and I forgot that ref, but he was like, yeah, like it's all like fun and games, like we give each other shit and whatnot. So um, it was good there, but UConn, I should have known, but I didn't want to do it.
Well, and I was looking, I was like, the forehead to head. I was looking for the name because you remember like the butterfly kisses is like when you
Yeah,
eyebrow or the eyelashes. I was trying to find what the forehead to forehead kiss is called, but absolute.
go Rams kiss or something.
Yeah, yeah, might as well be something like that. But yeah, hats off to UConn, incredible game. Which brings us to Yukon, Illinois in one Final Four matchup, and Michigan and Arizona for another matchup. And these are perfect matchups. You've got, people are saying one side, Michigan, Arizona is the national championship. I would say these two teams are perfectly matched up. Like we've got a really great game with Michigan, Arizona. We're going to talk about that. And then you got Illinois, Yukon, who are very similar in a lot of ways. And you get that clash of style, tough, rugged Brad Underwood and then the toughest motherfucking coach in college basketball right now with Dan Hurley. So it is going to yield two very good games and a very good national championship, regardless of who is playing who in the Natty. So that being said, Max, let's start with Illinois UConn. What are your keys to the game? And I mean, with the odds that we have, and we kind of talked about it before, but with the odds that we have, I mean, if you want to take plus 1.5, sure, you're more than welcome to, but it's probably just going to be a money line picks for both games. I don't know about you, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Yeah, and both of these teams, UConn and Illinois, have been rolling. Um, but I think I'm going to go with, who has been there and done that, and that's Dan Hurley and the crew. And I'm just that plus two, the plus 110 money line is just has me salivating. I mean, I can't even speak thinking about it. So I would have to go that route. I think Illinois really does put up a close game, and it will be very, very good. Um, but I think, Illinois has, I don't know, there's just something that this is where they all of a sudden can't shoot. All of a sudden don't have that energy, don't have that drive, and just can't score. You know, I don't know.
Well, and what's great is we do have a sample size of one this year where Illinois did play UConn back on the day after Thanksgiving or the weekend after Thanksgiving up at Madison Square Garden, and UConn won by 13. Just some couple quick stats for you there. UConn shot, or I don't have UConn's shooting stats, but I have Illinois'. Illinois shot 32% from the field and 21% from three. Lost by 13 at Madison Square, which, I mean, aside from St. John's, considering it their kind of like second home base, it's pretty much the same thing with UConn. It's basically UConn's second home at Madison Square. So more of a neutral site here with Indianapolis. You're going to have the Illinois fans going. But what I'll
Right.
say, Max, is I'm glad we at least disagree on one of these because I was a little worried we'd just be agreeing with both picks, but I mentioned earlier I have Illinois future, so there is some slight there, but minus 130 still gives me good value with Illinois, and I think the difference is that I don't think Terrace Reed's going to get exactly what he got against Duke. I think from a rotational perspective, Illinois is better on defense. I mean, how many times did we see Houston swing the ball around. You get the open guy, and they are rotating on that ass right away. Um, I think they're going to shoot better than they did last time. They've seen them one time before, and as much as I agree with you on who's been there before, and you got guys like Caravan, Solo Ball, things like that, guys who have been there for UConn. Just I think we might see something a little different. So I'm going to go with Illinois here. I think the depth of Illinois is going to be a little bit better than UConn. I think rotationally on the defense, they're going to be better. To your point, though, Max, if Illinois hits 30% instead of 21% from three, that's huge. They shot 20, I think it was 21, 24 times from three in the last time they played. UConn's a great closeout team. They've got length as well. I have a hard time not picking Illinois, but I feel like my big um my big reasoning for that too is not all that. I wanted to look at what the public was doing. 64% are on UConn money line. 60% are on UConn plus 1.5.
Mm.
Um, and Illinois is still minus 130. So I think that's kind of my basis for this. I think it's going to be an incredible matchup. Number one in offense in Ken Palm for Illinois. Number nine in defense for UConn in Ken Palm. Both tempos are, 296 and 319. So expecting a slow game. Might be an efficient game though. So you got anything on your over under there?
Yeah, I mean, I love the over. I think 139.5 is pretty low. I think both teams easily put up like 80.
Yep. I mean, I was looking at some
And
stats.
granted that kind of differs from Illinois' last game and or am I sorry.
Well, Iowa's got even slower of a pace. They're like the slowest team in all of college basketball versus UConn. Whereas I feel like Illinois, UConn both push it to what they need. Like they will push it, but they're not gonna like rush it. But if they get an open shot, open lanes, I don't see them not taking that.
Sorry, I was thinking of the yeah, the Houston game where they put up 65, but still, either way, both UConn and Illinois put up more than 70 last game. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you look at defensively, they combine for about 134 points per game allowed, but they average combined about 160 points per game. So I think there's a good in between there. I think if it's even remotely in the middle of that, you're looking at 150-ish range.
Hmm.
Um, maybe like a 145, but I agree with you there. Both teams average 1.12 points per possession, and both teams average 68 possessions per game. So you just do the quick math, 136 possessions, and each team's averaging over a point. 1.12 gets you to about 148 points per game. So riding with that over there as well.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And one play I do like here in this game that I will be playing is the both teams total over. So not just one, both teams. So I've got this written down. Both teams to score 67 points or more at plus 105. So I mean
Okay.
that puts you at 135 if they both scored 67 points, you'd be
Right.
looking at a 134. We both have over, so and it's gonna be a close game. I think both can do that. So give me that plus 105 there.
That's a sneaky one. I like that.
Yeah. Yep. And then to the points that we already said. So I've already got the money line, the over, both teams over. I've got one more play or two more plays. One is going to be based on my Illinois money line, but there's another play where it's not both teams, but it's either team to win by between 1 and 5 points. So as long as it's a 5 point game, either way,
Hmm.
or less. If it's 6 points, you lose. But between 1 and 5 margin, both teams plus 115, which I fucking love that. Because even if it's a 3 point game and you get a foul, you get that 2 points. Now you're at five. Long range shot, buzzer goes off. We're looking at a plus 115 winner there.
I like that.
And what I'll add to that is Illinois specifically to win between 1 and 5 is plus 300. I think UConn's plus 330. So if you like UConn to for you, Max, I mean plus 330 for UConn to win between 1 and 5. I think that's a really good value. Illinois at plus 300 is also a great value there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So those are kind of the picks I got there. We've already kind of talked our money line. Is there anything else you want to hit on this game?
No, sir. I think we've nailed it.
Cool. All right, on to the quote national championship of Michigan, Arizona. And, it's going to be a great game, but I have a hard time saying that that's the national championship when you've got a 2 and a 3 seed who have looked as good as UConn with the matchups and the route that UConn had and with how good Illinois has looked throughout this tournament and coming into the tournament. So, a lot there, but you led with this one, so I'll lead with this one. Max, I have a really hard time not going Michigan money line here. I think with the way that they looked against Tennessee, I'm not going to overlook it too much. I'm not going to be like that's not going to be the only thing I factor in there, but. I mean, you're talking about the number five in offense in Michigan in Ken Palm versus Zona, number four in offense. Michigan's the number one defensive team in Ken Palm. Zona is the number two team in defense in Ken Palm. But
Mhm.
tempos are in the top 60 with Michigan 22nd and Arizona 56th. But should be interesting there. And then just some public numbers, 59% are on Zona money line, and it's an even split on the spread. So talk to me. Where are you going with that? Because I love Michigan. I think the way they looked with their team on defense, on offense. The only thing that I'm a little concerned is Elliot Cadeau was sick last week on the flight back, and then you just kind of rock with that.
Yeah.
Cool.
No. No disagreement there. I love the money line. I would think because looking at it, I have it parlayed with the over or under that I have chosen for this game. If I want to do the money line versus spread at -1.5, it's like a 20 point difference. So I might as well not risk that bullshit one, or two. So yeah, I love the money line. It's -125, like you said. So I think it's an easy straight that you can take as well, but not I wouldn't want to risk that half point. I
Yep.
don't I mean, obviously this too. I mean, I'm wearing Michigan. I've had them the whole tournament. They've looked damn good all tournament. So I think Zona comes to an end, and I don't know. That's that.
Yeah. I like it. No, I'm with you there. To add a couple picks, or do you have I kind of lean under in the 157 range. I think both teams are very, fast paced. It's weird because pace pace is right there, offensive productivity's there, but I feel like when you get this game versus a Yukon, Illinois, I feel like they're going to be pretty tightened up on offense, move the ball around. I think they're going to value every single possession on both sides, knowing matchup. So I kind of lean under, but I'm not. I'm kind of waiting to see what happens if the line keeps creeping up. I'm definitely going to hit the under, but um, I'm kind of at the point where I don't know if I'm even going to play it, but if I had to pick, I'd go under 157.5. Feel like
Yeah. No,
close. But
It, yeah, I'd say I'd agree with you. If it keeps creeping, I would definitely go under. But right now at 157 and a half, I think I'm hitting that over.
okay,
I think both teams can score very well. I know Michigan's defense is a little better and can definitely stop Zona a little bit, but I see a pretty high scoring game. Both these teams can shoot and put up points, so I like it a lot.
fair, fair. Yeah, I one of these games has to go over, right? Like I
Oh,
don't think
yeah, both.
both. Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm torn. I'm gonna bring back the same two props I had from Illinois. Either team to win between 1 and 5 is plus 115 again. Might even parlay both those just to see what that looks like, but I'm definitely playing both singles. And then to what we both have in Michigan. Michigan to win between 1 and 5 is plus 330 versus 300. So a little bit better odds there. I think both games are going to be close. Gonna try, trying to find some value here and there where you can do it. The both teams total overs was like 75, like 75 or more for each team was like minus 110. I don't know if I love that. But that's because I'm leaning more on the under. So that might be something. But you start getting up there into 75, 77, stuff like that. It gets a little dicey just because you never know. But
Right.
that's where I lean there. Anything else on Michigan Zona before we get to our natty prediction?
No, sir.
Cool. All right, Max. Well, you've got UConn and Michigan, and so the hypothetical odds right here on DraftKings for UConn, Michigan, UConn would be plus 5.5 at minus 108, Michigan minus 5.5 at minus 112, and an over under of 146.5. Michigan money line minus 230 and UConn plus 190. You can just give who your straight winner is, and then if you like any of those odds.
Obviously, for my bracket's sake, I'm going to say Michigan, but I don't hate that plus 5.5 at all.
Yeah.
That were to be it, I'd say realistically, if that were to happen, and especially closer to, like later Monday, maybe early evening Monday, I could see it dropping down to like a 3.5, depending on how UConn and Michigan play on Saturday. But I still got to stick with my guts. Obviously, Michigan, and I want to say under 46.5 as well. I
Yeah.
think this might be, jitters and, all that stuff. I think it will end up kind of low scoring, but it'll be a great game.
Yep. Yeah. Honestly, if that was the matchup, I'd almost kind of like Michigan minus 5.5. That would be if UConn gets through this game, that's when I'm like, all right, you guys have won a couple times already. All the hype about Caravan winning 3 and 4 years. I think there would be a little bit much that would get to them there. But that's just a personal opinion. Um, I've got Illinois, Michigan. So that hypothetical line, Michigan minus 3.5 at minus 112, plus 3.5 minus 108 for Illinois, an over under of 155.5, and then a Illinois plus 150 money line and a Michigan minus 180. If Illinois does get to the Natty Max, I've already got a future on them to win it at 50 to win plus 450. So I probably wouldn't go too crazy on Illinois because I've already got a
Always
huge
go
payout.
down.
Yeah, so I wouldn't need to put that money line in. So at that point, I'd probably go Michigan at the minus 180. It's a little juicy for our odds, but I would do that, and then I would probably put the over 155 because I think most of the time that they've played, it's been pretty high scoring. I think I like your jitters concept, but I think Illinois might come out firing. And if Illinois comes out firing, Michigan's gonna come out firing. So I like that over there. Overall, though, Michigan money line. So it looks like both of us have Michigan winning the whole thing.
Yeah,
Yep. So
they are the best.
they are. They've looked incredible. They haven't had as hard of a route as anyone like a UConn or a Duke in the East. I mean, they haven't played anyone like Illinois has with Houston, and I would argue Purdue's better than any team that Michigan's also played in Arizona. So it's gonna be a great matchup. I'm looking forward to it. Michigan zone is gonna have like 10 guys on the court at one point who are all gonna be top 25 picks, which is gonna be insane. Illinois UConn's got a bunch of guys there, but that might be the most. Both those teams are just so complete, very complimentary to the rest of their team, and looking forward to both these games. I've got a dinner resi fucking Saturday for Taylor's birthday. Because Easter is her actual birthday. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we'll see. I might have to do like I've got hair long enough where I could probably hide an earbud in here. Just like pull my hair down on this side a little bit, put an earbud and just like listen to it on YouTube TV dinner. Might not be the best move though. So
I don't think so.
yeah, yeah, no, it's between, Final Four for a birthday and anniversary on the Packers Bears game day for the
Hey,
playoffs.
I
No,
had to miss game 7 of Cubs Brewers NLDS last year because of a birthday dinner. So
yep. What are you gonna do, man? Life gets in the way. But there will always be sports. So we can appreciate that. Um, anything else on college hoops?
no, man. I think we got it. And you know what? If you guys want to fade us, feel free. I've been kind of shoddy this whole tournament, but I'm feeling pretty good about this go around.
Dude, I think I netted quite a good bit on Elite Eight Sunday. I had Michigan minus 9.5 very heavily against Tennessee, and then I had UConn money line and the plus 5.5. So and the over.
I
Uh,
was bullshit. I was in North Carolina, so I was like, yeah, I should do player props. I don't know college player props. I should never fucking do college player props.
they're hard, man. I every time I think I get one, there's always one guy who's just absolutely ass.
True, I would do like two guys, so then one would hit it, the other wouldn't. No,
Yep.
it's fucking bullshit. But live and learn. Live and let die. Let's have a great fucking weekend. We got a lot, hockey, baseball. Baseball's back. We get to rolling. Not gonna get too far into the Cubbies yet, but
We'll get
yeah,
Stefanko on for a little catch up
yeah,
once Masters are done. Once we get the Masters over, I think that'd be good. Well, I'll be out of town that week, but the week after the Masters. But we'll do that'll be a good little break. Post Final Four, post Masters, and then we take a week off. Little spring break for us. And then we'll pick right back up.
fuck yeah.
All right, dude. And I'm assuming I don't see any soccer. It literally looks like you got anything for UFC? It looks
No, I mean
like
Marciano plus 140 is a little tasty, but other than that, I got nothing else.
yep. Yeah, that's fair. I can agree with that. Okay. Yeah, soccer picks up the next week too. So we'll just have to live with the Final Four and the Valero Texas Open for the weekend.
Yes, sir. Hey, that's good enough for me.
Right. I'm with it. I'm with it. And you got the women's Final Four also. You've got UConn, South Carolina tomorrow night, seven or today for those listening, 7 p.m. UConn minus 6.5. Plus 6.5 for you, South Carolina, and then you've got basically a coin flip on Texas UCLA. Um, I did the other night, I did a Yukon Texas money line parlay for like plus 131, which is what the odds are still now. Um, that's about all I got. I think you could probably sprinkle South Carolina plus 6.5, but I'm not going to fade Yukon, and Texas looks good as well. So we'll see.
Yeah.
So I'm just taking the favorites and the money lines on that. Natty, it's
I
Yukon.
mean, that's how it is. They're all the one seeds. So
Yep. Yeah, all four one seeds, no surprise there. I'll
no
probably,
hate too. That was last year's men's too.
yep,
So
exactly. So, I mean, UConn, yeah, Texas plus 131. And then I'm going to just pick UConn, whatever the odds are for that. Probably try and find a parlay on that on Sunday. Fine. If the leading golfer is like minus 200 on Sunday, just parlay UConn money line with that and call it a day.
yeah, I don't hate it.
Yep. So that's all we got. Maybe we'll sprinkle in some college baseball here and there, because odds are decent. I don't, from a run line perspective, I'm not great, but I had a nice little West Virginia parlay over Arizona, and I think it was Georgia Tech and one other team for some fun little NCAA baseball. So something to
Yeah.
keep.
No, West Virginia baseball's nice.
Yep, top 20 right now.
We got 13. Yep.
Yep. So. All righty, dude. All right. Well, that's all we got for this week's pod. Happy gambling. And as always, have a great weekend, Max. Always a pleasure, dude. And if I don't see you before, I'll see you on Sunday.
Absolutely. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys.